Cold doesn't knock, it breaks in, fast and unforgiving. And when it does, shelves clear out, prices spike, and comfort becomes a luxury most can't afford. But here's the edge. While others panic, buy overpriced gear last minute, you'll already be steps ahead, stocked up with $1.25 survival tools, hiding in plain sight at your local Dollar Tree. These aren't just budget items, they're cold weather lifelines. From heat retention to power backup, these cheap but crucial finds will keep you warm, functional, and 2 steps ahead when the deep freeze hits. And the best part? Most shoppers overlook them until it's too late. So before the storm rolls in, let's break down the 9 Dollar Tree items that'll go from forgotten to priceless overnight. Number 1. Wool arm warmers. Wool arm warmers seem like a simple winter accessory, but in a survival scenario, they become a tactical advantage. They cover the vulnerable gap between your glove and jacket sleeve, trapping heat and preventing wind from stealing warmth. In many cold conditions, that small exposed area around your forearms can sap your comfort faster than you'd expect. When made from quality wool, especially merino or wool blends, these arm warmers insulate even when damp, thanks to wool's unique fiber structure that traps air and repels moisture. Wool fibers also wick sweat away from skin, maintaining thermal balance. That means fewer chills when your exertion level changes, whether you're hiking, chopping wood, or simply staying still in the cold. In a real-world scenario, wool arm warmers cost almost nothing, often just a few dollars at discount or thrift stores. Yet their benefit is massive. They add a floating insulation layer that you can slide on and off as temperatures or activity levels shift. Want to warm up your arms while walking? Pull them on. Need flexibility while working? Slide them off temporarily. They're modular, lightweight, and reusable. The storage footprint is minimal. Roll them tight, tuck them inside gloves or pockets, and they occupy hardly any space. Unlike bulkier jackets or heavy gear, wool arm warmers layer in without weighing you down or creating bulk. One trick many preppers overlook: double layering with a thin glove liner underneath, then a wool arm warmer over the sleeve. This combo blocks wind and traps residual warmth. Use cuff adjustments or elastic bands to hold the warmer in place so it doesn't slip when you move. And when the cold really sets in, your arms are working hard-handling tools, firewood, carrying supplies. Keeping them warm preserves dexterity, reduces fatigue, and prevents early frostbite or aches. Arm warmers aren't just comfort, they're functional thermal gear. With your limbs now better defended from cold, it's time to protect your core and face. The next forgotten trick isn't clothing. It's how to conceal yourself from cold and wind, mastering natural camouflage and concealment techniques that our ancestors used to disappear from sight. Number 2. Insulated travel mugs. You walk into Dollar Tree or a small discount shop, and between plastic bottles and cheap cups, you spot an insulated travel mug. Most ignore it, but when the cold hits and the power's gone, that mug becomes priceless. What makes it so powerful is the science behind it. A good insulated mug uses double wall construction or vacuum insulation to minimize heat transfer. That means hot liquids stay hot, cold liquids stay cold for hours. In fact, modern vacuum mugs can preserve heat for up to 12 hours and keep something cold for up to 24. In survival terms, that's like carrying a portable heater in your hand. In a cold weather prepper's kit, this mug becomes dual purpose. During blackout or storm days, you fill it with boiling water or hot tea before lights go out, then drink from it when the chill sets in. It acts as a small radiant heater when you hug it, and because it's sealed, it delays heat loss, preserves hot drinks, and reduces fuel use because you don't need to reheat as often. Now, here's the price twist. In normal times, a decent insulated travel mug costs $15, $25 or more. But when supply chains get disrupted, people panic, and the available ones shoot up in price. Meanwhile, if you'd already grabbed one for $3, $5 at a discount store earlier, you're already miles ahead. When storing or choosing one, go for stainless steel or food-grade materials. Avoid plastic lids that leak or let heat escape. Always test the seal. A poor lid defeats the best insulation. Roll a small towel around the mug when stowed it further, reduces heat exchange. Space is minimal. It fits inside pockets, inside your winter jacket, or strapped to your gear. Its utility-to-weight ratio is excellent. When cold knocks and gear fails, That mug gives you hot drinks, psychological comfort, and literal warmth in your hands. It becomes one of the few pieces of modern gear you'll rely on when everything else is dark. Now that your hands and chest have a heat buffer, let's move outward, securing your outer barrier against freezing. Next trick: wool arm warmers, an underutilized key in cold resilience. Number 3, plastic sealers. Plastic sealers, heato sealers, bag seal clips, or even handheld heato sealers might look like a niche gadget, but in a cold or collapse scenario, they become essential engineering tools. Imagine preserving every bit of heat, food, and gear you can, with no leaks, no rot, and no waste. That's what seals do: lock in your survival margin. When you store food, documents, seeds, or clothing in plastic bags, any slight tear or weak closure is a failure point. A quality plastic sealer helps you fuse thermoplastics together, creating airtight and water-resistant bonds that ordinary clips or folds can't match. In fact, heat sealing is fundamental in food packaging and barrier protection. Here's how they shine in cold survival: moisture and ice block. Your supplies must stay dry. A crisp seal keeps out damp air that turns food to mush or seeds to mold. Temperature buffer. Sealed containers delay heat loss. When your supplies are insulated, every degree saved stretches your resources. Gear repair and adaptability. Plastic sealers let you patch torn gear, fuse clothing layers, and even create custom pockets or containers on the fly. Medical and document protection. Seal first: aid kits, important documents, medications, anything that fails when touched by moisture or cold. Let's talk price. A basic handheld heat sealer might cost you $10, $20 in retail settings, sometimes less in discount stores. But when supply chains tighten or shortages hit, that same device can sell for double or triple. Buying one early before the cold locks in demand turns it from a tool into a strategic asset. When choosing one, look for adjustable temperature, non-stick sealing bar, and consistent sealing time. Test it on scraps first. The right setting fuses plastic without melting holes. For mylar or thick plastics, a more powerful sealer or multiple passes may be required. Storage tip: keep spare sealing bars, fuses, and ensure the unit stays clean. Even tiny bits of dirt in the seam ruin seal integrity, because in a crisis, a broken bag can cost weeks of food. A small, sharp sealer can save you that. Once sealing is locked in, your next focus should be on portable heat and insulation gadgets, especially those you can layer over core clothing. Number 4, static cling insulation sheets. Those thin vinyl films that stick to windows without glue are one of the most undervalued cold weather survival tools you can pick up for a few bucks. When the cold hits and your heating system strains, these sheets become priceless. They create a barrier that reduces convective and radiant heat loss through glass, helping trap warmth inside your space. Because they cling using only static electricity, you don't need adhesive tape or special tools. That means no damage to window frames, no residue when removed, and fast installation in minutes. In normal conditions, one good quality static cling insulation film might cost between $5 to $15, depending on size and brand. But when winter sets in and people scramble, that same sheet could fetch double or be sold out entirely. To use them effectively, clean the glass thoroughly, cut the sheet slightly oversize, mist the window with water, and press the film from top to bottom while smoothing out air bubbles. Overlap edges slightly to ensure full coverage. Because these films aren't permanent, you can reuse them next season. Keep in mind, static cling sheets aren't perfect insulators by themselves. They work best when they seal drafts and trap a thin layer of still air between glass and film, which slows heat transfer. Their biggest limitation is durability. Over time, static adhesion can degrade, especially in humid or very cold environments. Still, in a pinch, they're a low-cost upgrade that delivers immediate thermal gains with minimal investment. When roofs leak and heat vanishes, static cling insulation sheets hold in what little warmth you've got and give you extra hours or days before conditions become unbearable. Now that windows can stop bleeding heat, let's shift inward, locking warmth around your body and your most important gear. Next, we'll talk about thermal layers and body heat management to maximize what you already carry. Number 5. Disposable hot packs. Hand warmers, foot warmers, body heat pads are more than convenience items, they're survival hinges when cold hits hard. Imagine your fingers going numb, your toes freezing in boots, and no heater running. One of these little packs can mean the difference between staying functional or shutting down. In many winter kits, people ignore them until they run out. In disaster times, these packs become priceless. What makes them work is a simple chemical reaction. Most use iron powder, activated carbon, salt, and vermiculite. When you break the air seal, oxygen reacts with the iron, producing heat. No batteries, no plug, just instant warmth. Manufacturers rate many hand warmers for 6 to 12 hours of heat, depending on size and formulation. Production and shelf life vary, but many quality disposable warmers are rated to last 3 years unopened before performance degrades. In normal retail, a single disposable hot pack might cost $1 to $3, or local equivalent. In peak cold season, or when people scramble, that price can triple or the packs vanish from shelves entirely. Grabbing them early turns them from cheap luxuries to high-value survival tools. For prepping, keep multiple packs distributed: inside gloves, boots, jacket pockets, sleeping bag liners. Use them preemptively. Activate one inside your gloves before stepping into cold. Also, layering sensors matter. 2 packs back-to-back extends warm zones across limbs. But don't press them directly against the skin wrap in cloth to avoid burns. Storage is simple but important. Keep them sealed and dry. Exposure to humidity, leaks, or perforation ruins the reaction. Always rotate stock. A hot pack that's years past its date may still heat, but weaker and shorter. Reddit threads confirm. Many older packs fail completely or produce mild warmth only. In field use, these packs are lightweight and disposable, but pack potent heat. When the grid fails and you lose central heat, they protect extremities, keep your gear warm, phones, batteries, and prevent cold shock and sudden exposure. Once your extremities are defended, the next frontier is body core warmth, how to maintain it with clothing, layering, and passive insulation tactics. Let's now shift focus inward: thermal layers and body heat management, so you hold warmth longer, with less fuel. Number 6. Shrink wrap kits. Shrink wrap window insulation kits are one of the smartest, lowest cost upgrades you can make before the cold really grips. For just a few dollars, you turn leaky, drafty windows into passive thermal barriers, sealing in warmth while keeping the cold air out. In a winter blackout or major cold snap, a home wrapped correctly with shrink film can preserve heat for hours, sometimes days longer than an untreated house. These kits typically include a roll of clear plastic film and double-U-sided tape. You mount the film over the window frame, then use a hairdryer to shrink the film tight, eliminating wrinkles and creating a sealed air pocket between your glass and the inside air. That trapped air slows heat transfer dramatically. Some kits cost as little as $6 to $10 for enough film to do several standard windows. But during early cold waves, those kits almost instantly disappear from shelves. Demand spikes and prices rise. The ones left often go for double what they cost last month. To install, clean the window frame completely, no dust or grease. Apply the double-sided tape along the perimeter. Stick the shrink film loosely, then shrink it carefully from the center outward with a hairdryer, cutting off the excess film after tension is achieved. Overlaps should be sealed, and edges taped down firmly. Once sealed, the film acts as a clear, invisible insulation layer, preserving visibility while sharpening your thermal resistance. Caveats: these films aren't perfect. They don't block radiant heat fully, and their seal can degrade in extreme humidity or repeated removal. They also don't replace permanent insulation upgrades. They amplify your existing insulation. But in emergencies, they're fast, reversible, and extremely effective. Because you can apply them window by window, you can prioritize the largest or coldest windows first, then expand as you get more film. Use on doors, skylights, or any large pane. Efficiency increases if you combine with thick curtains or blinds behind the film, creating a double heat trap. With windows now sealed and your home shell tightened, it's time to focus on your personal heat layer and how to trap warmth around your body, core, and extremities, when every degree matters. Up next, thermal layers and clothing strategies to turn your body into a heat fortress. Number 7. Plush blanket. When the power goes out and the cold creeps in, there's one item from the Dollar Tree that instantly turns from nice to have to need it now: a plush blanket. At just $1.25, these lightweight fleece-style blankets might seem like a simple comfort item, but their value skyrockets the moment indoor temperatures drop. Most people think of heavy quilts or electric blankets for warmth, but in a survival scenario, layering multiple plush blankets can outperform bulkier options. Why? Because trapped air between layers builds thermal resistance, and the softness hugs the body tighter, locking in body heat more effectively. Dollar Tree's plush throws aren't massive, but that's the advantage. Their smaller size makes them versatile. You can wrap one around your core, line the inside of a sleeping bag, tuck one into boots or gloves, or even layer 3 or 4 under clothing to create makeshift insulation. In freezing conditions, survival isn't about one thick item, it's about building layers, and these blankets let you do that without spending $50 per piece. Another overlooked use? Window insulation. You can pin or tape them over windows at night to block drafts and retain heat. They're also excellent for sealing off door gaps or blocking vents in rooms you're not using crucial steps in zone heating. Lightweight and foldable, you can store 10 of these in the same space one thick comforter takes up, and when things go south, distribute them where warmth is needed most: bed, windows, doorways, or body. Now here's the real survival advantage. They disappear first. Every year, as soon as the cold snap warning hits, these blankets are gone from the shelves. Because everyone realizes at the same time they're cheap, they're effective, and they're suddenly priceless. So if you see them in stock, don't wait. Grab more than you think you'll need. Blankets aren't just comfort, they're insulation, morale boosters, and heat barriers you'll wish you had more of when the temperature plummets. And speaking of layering for warmth, next we're covering another unexpected but powerful heat trapper you can score for next to nothing: thermal socks and foot warmers that do more than just keep toes cozy. Number 8. Utility gloves with fleece lining. When icy winds cut through the air and temperatures crash, there's one body part most people forget to protect your hands. And yet, in survival mode, your hands are your tools. From lighting fires and sealing windows to carrying supplies or clearing snow, cold, stiff fingers can bring everything to a halt. That's why utility gloves with fleece lining from Dollar Tree, yes, just $1.25, go from overlooked to essential the moment the cold sets in. These gloves aren't the bulky kind that slow you down. They're designed for function: rubber grip on the outside, fleece-lined warmth on the inside. That combination gives you protection from cold surfaces while still allowing you to handle gear, tools, zippers, or even your phone. In other words, they're not just gloves, they're insulation that moves with you. Now, here's what most people don't realize. During a cold weather event, tasks like fixing a tarp, moving firewood, or even opening a car door become painful without proper hand gear. Numb hands lead to mistakes, and in survival, mistakes can cost more than comfort. These gloves give you that vital barrier without sacrificing dexterity or breaking your budget. Their fleece interior traps heat quickly, even after brief exposure to freezing metal or wind. Keep one pair for work and another tucked inside your coat to rotate when wet or frozen. They're light, easy to layer under heavier mitts if needed, and compact enough to stockpile. And when the first cold snap hits, they're among the first items to vanish from Dollar Tree shelves, because smart folks know you can't perform under pressure with frozen hands. So if you see a stack of them, don't overthink it, grab several. Your future self, facing an unheated home or a broken down car in 15-degree weather, will thank you. Now that your hands are covered, let's move to another cheap but brilliant tool to protect your core temperature, one that weighs almost nothing but delivers big warmth when it counts. Emergency thermal blankets you should never skip. Number 9. Foot heating gel packs. When the cold hits, heat escapes through the ground and your feet take the first blow. In a freezing house, car, or campsite, cold feet don't just make you uncomfortable, they rob your energy, ruin your focus, and stop you from moving efficiently. That's why foot heating gel packs from the Dollar Tree, yes, $1.25, aren't just convenient, they're survival smart. Most people overlook these because they're sitting quietly on the health aisle, but when the temperature drops, they're priceless. Designed to slide right into your socks or shoes, these gel packs activate quickly and target the most vulnerable area of your soles. Since heat rises from the bottom up, warming your feet has a domino effect on your whole body. They're reusable, lightweight, and store easily in your go bag or emergency drawer. Just pop them in hot water or a microwave, and they retain heat long enough to get your blood circulating and your core temperature rising. In real cold weather emergencies where your home's heat is gone or you're stuck in a stranded vehicle, these can be the difference between staying mobile and getting sidelined. What makes them so effective is their portability. You can tuck them inside boots before heading out, use them under a blanket during blackouts, or keep them close for kids or elders who are extra sensitive to the cold. And because they're sealed and reusable, you get warmth on demand without waste or fuel. Stocking up on these now, while they're still on shelves and dirt cheap, means you won't be scrambling later. The moment a winter storm is announced, these vanish from stores because people know cold feet aren't just annoying, they're dangerous. So grab several pairs while they're still available, because when the floor turns to ice and the heat goes out, your survival starts from the ground up. And next, let's talk about another layer of cold defense, something paper-thin yet powerful, and often overlooked until it's too late: Dollar Tree's emergency thermal liners. When the cold takes over and the power's gone, it's not the flashy gear or high-tech tools that keep you safe. It's the quiet choices you made before the panic started, the dollar store items that everyone ignored until it was too late. You don't need a fortune to prepare, you need foresight. And every single item on this list is proof that survival doesn't have to be expensive, it just has to be smart. So if you made it this far, you're already steps ahead of the crowd. But this is just the beginning. Subscribe now because we're just getting started. More no-nonsense, budget-smart survival tactics are on the way. And when the next wave of chaos hits, you won't be caught off guard. You'll be ready. Hit that button. Stay sharp, stay ahead.